If you are a serious runner, I honestly cannot think of a better treadmill for you. For one, it has a super long deck, and while you're running on the deck, it is so bouncy. It feels so similar to running on like asphalt or packed dirt. Now, there are a couple callouts that I do have to this machine, and while they are minor, they are worth mentioning. Overall, I think that this Wahoo Kickr Run is for those who are serious runners. If you are somebody who casually jogs, this is not the overbuilt treadmill for you. Like, this thing is bomb-proof. However, if you are somebody who is adding 50, 100 miles to your week, you are working on sprints, you are working on incline, you are doing tempo or fartlek runs, whatever it is, you take your running training seriously, guys, this Wahoo Kickr Run is incredible. But before we talk about all the details that go into this treadmill, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Also, if you want to go ahead and purchase this, and if you do purchase it, please let me know, because I am so psyched by this treadmill and I want to see who else is as psyched as I am. But we've made it super easy. Place the link below the like button. When you use that link, it doesn't cost you anything extra. And lastly, despite the fact that this company has sent us this treadmill, as always, this is an honest review. I do have some call outs, so be sure if you are interested in this treadmill, watch the full video to see the callouts I do have so you can be aware of it before you spend that massive price tag on this treadmill. Okay, so this is so different than a typical treadmill. It doesn't even have a start button. And in order to use it, you are gonna have to go ahead and connect to different apps. So they have the Wahoo Fitness app that you can connect to. When you use that app, it's not gonna give you any sort of programming, but it's going to be able to show you your metrics. So your distance, calories, time, so on. Or you can go ahead and connect to the Zwift app. The Zwift app in conjunction with this treadmill, I think is so cool. I'm gonna talk about all that it does with this treadmill, but no going in. There's no sort of display on the treadmill itself. You basically have to connect to your phone, laptop, or iPad in order to see any additional metrics that you wanna see. It's not like it has a big screen or even a display like we see with typical treadmills. So the price point on this, $6,999.99. This is probably the most expensive treadmill that I've ever tested. It might be one of the most expensive treadmills for residential use. So this is why I'm saying, like, this is a good investment for those who are looking for a very true mimic of what a road running experience is like. Those who are out there training and putting in lots of miles throughout the week. If you are somebody who just wants to up your step game or does light jogs, like, there's so many other cheaper treadmills out there that are just as good, but just don't offer the things that this Wahoo Kickr Run does. So when you connect to the app Zwift, this was one of my favorite things to play around with. There are a ton of different programming options that you can use within that Zwift app. So you connect it to your treadmill, you're gonna be able to see all of your data. But here's one of the coolest parts. So when you connect it to your treadmill, if you are going up a hill, your treadmill is going to start inclining, or you can go ahead and use the paddles to incline. If you are on the free form function, which we are going to talk about here in a minute, your treadmill is automatically going to like tilt side to side to mimic what like a road terrain or a trail run feels like. This was such a unique experience to me. It didn't feel off-putting at all. It wasn't like I was like quickly stepping to the side, but it just kind of gave some natural movement to my run, like what I would experience outside running. Okay, I'm just gonna show you a couple things real fast. So the treadmill is plugged in. It doesn't show that it's on. It doesn't have a power button, but when I go ahead and step on, automatically my screen comes in. This is gonna show me how fast I am walking per mile. And then this is my incline. And if I wanna go ahead and start it, I just go ahead and paddle. And it's really smooth, really quiet. So then I can push it forward and it'll jump from a 40-minute per mile pace to 38, 36. If I hold it down, it's going to go ahead and just jump like 1 minute, or then a quick jump is like 30 seconds. So you can kind of play around with it like that. The other thing I want to show you real quick is how I talked about the incline. So that's actually decline if you move it forward, which is counterintuitive to me, but I can't just hold it down. It'll just jump 0.5% each time. So now I'm at 2, -2, -5, -3. This is the -3 incline. And then if I want to jump all the way up to 15%, I push it back towards me, but I can't just hold it down. It doesn't move, so I have to hit it each time. So just fast forward this part while I get all the way up to 15%. I think it's super annoying. 4%, 6%, 8%. Pretty quiet. You do hear the like sound. That's an actual imitation of the treadmill. Definitely smooth. Just slightly annoying. Okay, so now I'm at 15%. And then I'm gonna show you how the free run works. I have to go all the way back down because, yeah, right, I'm not running free run at 15% incline right now. After Chipotle, mind you, not a chance. All right, so in order to use the free run function, you can't just hit it while you're walking. You have to be at least at a jogging pace in order for it to work. So let's go ahead and do that. So nice jog. Then I can hit the free run and it'll pop up as like a little road on my display. If I'm at the front of this treadmill, it's just going to maintain my pace. If I start to move further back, it's already declining in my pace. Already slows down automatically. If I move further back, it's basically gonna just shut off. So you have to play around where you're at in terms of the sensor to the belt deck, but ultimately, once I figured it out, I really like it. The other thing I wanna show you real quick is like, this isn't the best design. So it has this strap for the laptop, which is great. Set your laptop on, strap it over. But this thing is for your phone and your iPad. You essentially like tuck it in here and then you clip your phone like this. It always hits my volume button. I don't really love it. I wish that it was designed a little bit differently, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I can connect to Zwift real fast. So download Zwift. I don't pay for it. I just use the free function. It's already connected to my treadmill because I used it yesterday. And then we'll go ahead, just do that. A lot of people connect it to a TV. I think that's super smart. I don't like putting my phone in there. I don't think it's great. So this will go ahead and tell me like, set your treadmill to 4 miles per hour. And the treadmill's already connected. So it's gonna show me what my miles per hour on, because obviously it doesn't show you right here. You can just follow along. It says 1% incline. I'll go ahead and change it. And I can just follow along with the class. Whenever I'm using it in connection with the Zwift, it will automatically go ahead and I can either toggle it to show my incline, or I can go ahead once I get to a better pace, do the free run function, and then it's gonna connect the treadmill so that it's just gonna follow along with whatever is set out on the class. So if it's hills, that treadmill is gonna incline. If there's any sort of trail run that I'm doing on Zwift, the sides are gonna move side to side, or the legs are gonna move side to side. Really smart, really fun. But again, for serious runners, not for just your everyday runner, $7,000 treadmill. But yeah, really like it. So the treadmill itself comes with a top speed of 15 miles per hour. That is equivalent to a 4-minute mile pace, insanely fast. It also goes up to 15% incline and then a -3% decline. Now there are paddles on the side, and I really liked the paddle function, and they are different than a typical button that you would find on a treadmill. So for instance, depending on how long you hold the paddle down, whether you do like a quick little paddle up, a quick little paddle down, you hold it down, that's going to determine your jumps. So you have options to jump like 1 mile per hour, you have options to jump like 2 miles per hour, and so on. So it is something that is different. You kind of got to play around with it just slightly in order to get used to it. But once you get used to it, it's actually really easy to use. Now, here's my call out to this, and it is so minor, but when you are spending $7,000 on a treadmill, like I am gonna be nitpicky, okay? whenever I'm going from like an incline or a speed and I hold the paddle down, I can't just hold the paddle down and have those numbers automatically rise. I noticed this the biggest on the incline function. So I would basically have to hit the paddle and it would jump up on incline. Have to hit the paddle, jump up 1% on incline. I continued to have to do this in order to get to that 15%. I couldn't just hold the paddle down and have it smoothly rise to 15%. Different than other treadmills that we've seen. Not my favorite function, minor call out, just something to be aware of. Now this features a 3.0 horsepower motor, great for those high speeds, great for that high incline, super efficient, and then the treadmill itself is ultra quiet. Now the belt deck measures 69 inches and then 22 inches wide. If you take the curves into account, it's only going to measure about 56 inches. However, that was not a deterrent. The belt feels so large. I mean, I think anybody can go ahead, easily run on this. Even if you have a super long stride, the belt felt so nice and large. Again, really bouncy, very comparable to what it feels like to run on Pactor or even a track. Like this is one of the most comfortable treadmills I've ever run on. Okay, because it doesn't have a screen, and I kind of wish it did. Like, let me know in the comments what you think, but I'm thinking if I'm gonna spend $7,000 on a treadmill and I have to use different apps and a different screen in order to see all my metrics, I kind of wish that there was a screen built in so I could easily just have all my metrics displayed right in front of me. You do have a phone holder case. It's a little awkward. I don't think it's the best designed out there. You also have that laptop shelf, and then it has a strap so you can hold your laptop into place while running. But again, like if I'm already gonna have to use all of these external screens, I kind of wish that they would have just built in a screen to the treadmill itself. The other thing that I think is smart is that they do have a USB-C charging port, which is going to be crucial because you are using your phone, your iPad, your laptop while using it, so you have to make sure that it is fully charged. The shelf itself also has 2 cup holders. Like there's no really big like ergonomical features. It doesn't have a fan, it doesn't have a speaker, it doesn't have anything like that, but you do have those 2 cup holders, which are really useful. Okay, so the free run mode. This was a little tricky to get used to. Once I understood it, once I got used to it, I was obsessed. So it uses a flight sensor that basically measures your distance of your hips and where you are at on the belt deck. So if you are further up on the belt deck, it's going to automatically increase and match your pace. If you start to move back, it's going to slow down that belt deck automatically. I noticed this the biggest when I was doing a hill run. So obviously with a hill, my pace is going to decrease. I was able to move further back on that belt on that incline, and then the treadmill automatically matched my pace, slowed down, and then when it went to that decline of the hill, it automatically matched my pace again. I was able to move forward on the deck and it felt like I was actually running down a hill. I don't know the technology. I don't know how they did this. I think it is incredible. It was so fun to use. Now, the only call out that I do have, again, it did take some getting used to. The first couple times I tried it, I would move back on the belt deck too quickly and the treadmill would automatically almost like shut off. So you do have to play around with it a little bit in order to understand where the flight sensors measures you on the belt deck in order to get the appropriate pace. But once you figure it out, I mean, it's a hands-free treadmill. It feels like you were just running at your own pace. You can change your pace, and the treadmill will follow you. I thought it was really, really smart. Okay, in terms of portability, I would say this thing isn't portable. Obviously it is. We moved it into the garage, but guys, this thing is so heavy, weighing 429 pounds, probably one of the heaviest treadmills that we've had to move so far, and we test a lot of treadmills here. The other call out that I do have that makes it kind of out of the book for portability for me is that it doesn't have any handlebars on the back. There's really no good way to grab onto the back. It does have wheels on the front, so if you are able to lift it and engage those wheels, it makes it a little easier to move. But guys, I mean, trust me when I say, put this in your garage, leave it there, do not move it, save yourself your back, and just know it's not a portable treadmill. One interesting thing to me is that the weight capacity on this is actually pretty low. I would expect it to be higher because it is this overbuilt treadmill. It does have a 3 horsepower motor. The weight capacity on this is only 250 pounds. Most of the time, we consider industry standard at least 300 pounds. I mean, we see that with the majority of treadmills that we test here is at least a 300-pound weight capacity. The fact that this is only 250 pounds was a little bit shocking to me, especially, again, given that high price tag. I think most people will still be able to use this with that 200-pound weight capacity, but it is something worth calling out. Now, the warranty on this is 5 years on the frame, motor, and then running belt, and then 1 year on all other parts and components for the treadmill. Another thing worth noting is that this has to have a dedicated outlet in order to not trip the breakers inside your house. They explain a lot of details of what those requirements are on the website, but because it draws so much power with that horsepower and then also that free run function, you are gonna have to have a dedicated outlet in order to use this and then not trip any breakers inside your house. Another thing worth calling out and worth noting, this has a unique power cord that basically Wahoo makes. And so if you lose that power cord, you can't just go ahead, buy another one off of Amazon, buy another one at a hardware store or whatever. You have to reach out to Wahoo in order to receive that correct power cord and have it be shipped to you. So do yourself a favor, keep track of that power cord. We actually lost ours initially. Thankfully, we found it, but it did delay our testing in order to test this treadmill because there's no other power cord that we could use. All in all, if you are a serious runner, this was one of my favorite treadmills. It felt super great. I loved the free run function. I love the design of the paddles once I got used to them. It is so smooth. It is so overly built. It is constructed so well. I mean, the warranty is great. I really don't have anything but minor call outs to it, like the fact that it's not portable, the fact that I do wish there was a screen that you have to connect to other apps in order to see your metrics. But all in all, if you are just a true runner, you just want to run on a quality treadmill, guys, this one is so good. But let me know what you think about this. This has been Lindsay with Garage Gym Reviews. Peace.